right. Thank you, Robert. All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Andrew Shepard, and Chair of the Planning Board, and I will be calling this meeting to order at 6:33 p.m. I'd like a roll call of all the board members present. Please say your name for the record.
Carol Huffs is present.
Robert Theron, present.
Hartley Fleshaw, present.
Thank you. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to thank all of our veterans, those who are currently serving here and abroad, their families, and those who contribute their time to public service. We owe them our gratitude. This meeting is being recorded and will be uploaded to the Town of Townsend YouTube channel. I do not believe that I have any additions or deletions. And let's check a look at the agenda and get in there. All right. So the meeting minutes for 8/11/25. Anybody have any thoughts or comments on those?
They just came off. They just came off the press. So if you want to take time to review them, that's up to you. Otherwise, you can defer them.
Does everyone have a print? They seem pretty short. They seem like a one-pager.
Okay.
It's 1.4.
1.4.
Beth, do you know if everyone?
Everyone should have a copy. Yeah. So there's an agenda, and then there's the meeting minutes, and then there's the admin report.
Oh,
Everyone
okay.
should have a copy.
Robert, Hartley, you guys have yours in front of you?
Yes.
The meeting minutes.
Close. Right here, 1.4.
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
1.4, right.
If you guys
You
have it,
approved the meeting minutes for 7/14/25, 7/15/25. H. Fleshaw made a motion to approve the meeting minutes for 7/14/25 and 7/15/25. C. Hoffs seconded the motion. All in favor?
Oh, just a minute. Those were already approved.
so these are the draft minutes, Hartley, from August
I'm
11th.
sorry, I'm still new at this.
No, so we're just reading. So that page that you just had,
Yeah.
we're just reading it to make sure we're okay with those minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's just take a moment, because they came out on the press today. We'll read them over briefly. And if we have any comments, we'll. Okay.
I believe that was the meeting when we discussed with Mr. Boyle about the balconies and outdoor spaces that he was going to prepare an amendment for.
I believe that's when we talked about it. Yes.
Yep.
We also one of the part of tonight that we talked about reviewing the bylaws. What was that? There was a specific bylaw, design standards,
Right.
that we postponed from last meeting to this meeting.
Right. So I just saying it's not shown in the notes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I think so you had expressed interest in residents having access to outdoor green space and then the architectural building styles. It's pretty cryptic, but I think that's what you're talking about, or no?
Yeah, Mr. Boyle had agreed to prepare some language.
Yep.
So that could be included here.
In the meeting minutes, you'd like that included?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I can put a sentence in after that. Yep.
Thank you.
You are
Yeah.
welcome.
Do you think during the course of this meeting, you might, if you're able to get that in quick, you could share screen it and then we could look it over and approve it still in the
Of
meeting?
course. Yeah, of
Okay.
course.
Perfect.
All right.
Hartley, did you have any comments or thoughts reading that?
No,
Okay, Carol?
No, I'm good with them.
All right, easy enough. So 3.1, review revise multifamily overlay district zoning bylaw amendments and the EOHLC pre-adoption review approval letter. And I believe Mr. Boyle is tentatively planning to join us tonight, but he's also at the, how did he phrase it? Supposedly like the shortest meeting in limits? I don't know. He had some fun phrasing.
I know it was gonna be in Leominster.
Yeah, some activities he's got going on in Leominster. So I believe he would try to join us afterwards, but we, that would only be if we had subsequent questions for him. So let's, Beth, did you have multiple drafts for the legal notice, or were you comfortable with this as the legal notice?
I actually had two different drafts and I shared them with Joe Boyle and he liked this one. He thought it read easier. So that's the one I
Okay.
kind of ended up with. The other one I have, I can print that out, but it is it is a bit wordy, hard to follow. I wanted to try to make it simple, but you have to make sure everything is captured in there, because you can hang up on a technicality with the Attorney General's office if every amendment isn't specifically noted, like cited in that legal notice. So please review it and compare it to the amendments that are being proposed and
Sure.
tell me if I missed anything. The one thing I didn't put in there yet was the zoning amendment to the Townsend zoning map, because I'm not sure, I'm gonna think of that a little bit, but what we're gonna have to do is actually amend the zoning map with the FEMA overlay district on it, because the town has already approved that at Springtown meeting. Otherwise, we'd have to go to the old zoning maps that are in the code, literally hand-drawn zoning maps. So I just have to figure out how to word that, but that has to go in before it goes to publish.
And were you able at all, I know we talked briefly ahead of time to ask Joe or MRPC about their map or help with mapping or putting together the map?
No, not yet. I think we can ask him tonight. And
Right.
I know that he wrote the description of the boundaries and that was reviewed by town council and town council found it to be acceptable. So we have that, but it's just, we don't have a nice map to, hold up at a town meeting. So yeah, it would be great.
I was thinking that I could attempt to Photoshop and paint something, but I also, they would have the GIS file that dictates the exact lines that, they created.
Yeah.
Would hate, be off
Yeah.
a few hundred feet and then have something say, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That makes such a difference. I'll just trying to be well-intentioned. Okay, so has everyone
It will be two
had a
different
chance to
meetings.
either look this over ahead of time, or do you guys want to take a moment to kind of read through it now, or just to make sure we're comfortable with what we're putting out there? This is item 3.1.
Yep.
Mr. Well,
just the amended areas that we're looking at, right?
Yeah, these are
Yeah.
all of what, when talking with him, kind of what he proposed in the last meeting,
Right.
making the changes to the
Yeah.
proposed bylaw. I think, Robert, I saw someone in here, I thought he had, maybe I'm wrong, I thought there was some phrasing that I felt was related to some of the concerns you brought up.
Beth.
Yeah.
Carol and I are the only members that were here prior to us all getting involved with the MBTA project.
Mhm.
And at that time, prior to that, the board had already voted on some language to be included in the zoning bylaw regarding scenic roads and the addition of the wellness requirement. So that had been previously approved, but it never was included for the town to go there. Because we jumped from that editing and updating the bylaw to dealing with the MBTA district.
Yeah, let me find that for you. I think what you're thinking of is when you amended 145-42 site plan review, because I
Sure.
do remember that that was added into that, the site plan review
Just a
special
couple of
permit.
rules, right.
Yes, right,
Yeah.
right. So I'll
I
look
do-
that up. Mhm.
Okay.
I do remember that something, the wellness statement was added to one of the.
So
Yeah.
my question now is, should that be incorporated here now with what we're doing now for the MBTA stuff, or?
I don't know if this is I don't remember if this is the exact language, Robert, but on page 3,
What page is that?
if you start with the legal notice, flip it once and then flip it again,
Okay,
so 2 flips, under 145-54.2, under A, purpose,
Yeah.
where are you? Okay, oh, that one, okay.
number 3, it says support wellness,
Oh, it does.
which I think is
That's it.
some of your language.
That's right.
And then, I think this was probably put in a way that was maybe felt,
Well, by providing for housing that is supported. Okay, so I guess, is there anywhere in the bylaw where it explains to people what wellness means?
Hmm.
I do remember there being some technical limitations to how we could word it or how we could push for it.
Yeah, there was,
Should I get my notes on that?
yeah, there was some, he did mention there was some legalities of how you define.
Yeah, there's
Well,
certain
those-
things we could or couldn't.
Because the
Fully
state wouldn't,
required.
the state wouldn't go along with being overly,
Well, it's no more than a buzzword, like,
yeah.
climate change or any of those other things.
Sure.
True, that's true.
Well, I just trying to cover all the bases on that, so I don't know we probably would need to include a definition of what the meaning of that is.
I would think so. I wouldn't feel comfortable trying to manipulate this as it was, being how many stages of review it's gone through. But I would, maybe Beth will have time, or if she finds, I do remember what we talked about, you were referencing, at some point we kind of, there was some sort of wellness inclusion that I
Right.
thought we did maybe vote on or something. I'm not sure where we ended up, or if it's already been included or something like that.
Pretty sure it was in site plan review special permit, 14245. I'm sorry, 14542.
That seems where it should be, I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that was one of the amendments last year.
Do you think it got approved or voted on?
Yeah, yeah, I was just trying to look it up. I'll see if I can find it in the
We-
code.
The definition.
Oh, a definition. I don't think we added a definition to the definitions, no.
Is that what you
But-
want to, like a definition of what wellness is? Is that what you want?
Well, to the lay people, I don't think they have any idea what that's about.
Oh, I know what it is.
All right, well.
Yeah, I think it's something different for everybody, right? In a way.
Maybe, Robert, we prioritize once we kind of either get through this or get these.
I'm sorry to throw this in right
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah, no, that's,
That's okay.
maybe we just prioritize circling back on that as an agenda item at one of our future meetings.
Right, particularly where this is gonna be reviewed by the AG right now. Putting a definition in might complicate that process.
Well, I guess that would be my fear, given the tight timeline that
Right, right, we
the
only have,
deadline's technically the end of December, but with the special town meeting, with the AG just given an informal review.
okay, why don't I make a motion that we delay any action on the definition of wellness until in the not too distant future.
Okay. And I don't even think we necessarily need to vote on that.
I think it's just something we
I
can
think
just,
as, for us as a discussion item, we just make sure that, that I, as the chair, keep track of it, and that Beth's aware, and that we make it a future agenda item, and
yeah,
focus on that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That's a great idea, yeah.
Let's see. I did search the E code, and I didn't see anything specific to wellness, but that, I don't necessarily know when the E code of the bylaws gets updated.
how often does it get
We're up to
updated?
date. We're up to date other than the last annual town meeting, I think. Let me see. Actually, no, actually we're behind because the ADU just got approved and so did the site plan approval. So let me just check. 145, 42.
I would think, if we give Beth some time over the next few weeks, she would know better than anybody to
Mhm.
be able to track down.
That's true.
Yeah,
Oh, I
Very-
see. Oh, here we go. I don't know. I think 145, 42 site plan review special permit A3, subsection A, subsection 3, protection of the public health and wellness, safety, welfare, property values, and the environment. Now, that's a one short statement that incorporates the whole reason for the site plan review special permit. So you may want more. Yeah.
so maybe we'll put it as an action item, for a future meeting. And maybe, Robert, we could try to get, some clarity, if you had some thoughts on how you would like to attempt to include it or incorporate it.
Well, I
guess if we go for
can
the.
put some adjectives out right now.
Sure, well, I guess less that, I guess more structurally, I guess we would probably target the site plan review process and go into there and try to attempt to add a definition, I would think.
Okay. That's just my personal contribution here.
Sure.
so.
Yeah, no, it's a good
I
contribution.
think that's reasonable, I don't think that's unfair. Okay, so let's move on, I think, Beth, would you like a vote approving 3.1 and what you put together thus far?
Yeah, I think that would be fine. I mean, you're welcome to wait for Joe, or if you had any other questions for him, I don't know what time he's coming, or if you have any questions for him, or any questions about, any of the amendments at all. You know, if you're all set with it, then yeah, I would take a vote to move it to the public hearing as is. Um, all the amendments, you don't have to read them all off, but that's the latest revision of the MFOD bylaw, incorporating EOHLC suggestion, the Attorney General's comments, and Town Council's comments are all in there. And so if you're ready, you can go ahead and approve it for the public hearing. And then after the public hearing, if you're fine with it, you take another vote, to move it to town meeting. Is typically the way it's been done. So yeah, that'd be great.
I make a motion that we approve the 3.1 article and as presented without change.
Okay,
I'll second it.
all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, the ayes have it. So there we go. Yeah, so that one is approved, ready for
Thank you.
the public hearing.
Okay.
When Joe gets on, we can let him know, and then still if we have any questions for him, but we're not gonna be adjusting that. As it has been
We're
written.
going with what we have right there.
Correct. So let's see, 3.2, review and discuss. These were the bylaw reviews that we postponed at our last meeting, to give us a chance to review them. But they are the plans for definite subdivisions, required submissions for definite subdivisions, and the design standards. Which I think of you, Robert, when I think of the design standards.
Right. And I think they were all incorporated as I was pleased.
Yeah, I personally didn't have any comments on them
I reviewed
Did we
them,
have
but I
the
didn't
square
have,
footage requirement?
in,
80 square feet?
in the design standards, 80 square feet.
Yeah, for outdoor access area.
That,
that I don't remember.
I didn't see that.
I don't
Yeah, I
remember
don't think-
seeing it either.
I don't think we have, I guess that's where we'd have to think where of the bylaws would be the best place to include
It would be in
your
the
section
design
on wells.
standards.
Design standards.
Yes.
Beth, do you have any thoughts? I mean, we should be able to include, I guess, what would be the language that we would want to include in that design standards bylaw?
Well, the language basically is requiring that every dwelling unit have access to an outdoor space with a minimum of 80 square feet. Whether it's a deck or a patio or a porch or a roof garden or whatever it is.
Drainage. Okay. So I'm thinking, you're thinking of the regulation 175.16. And there are no subsections already in here that address the dwelling units themselves. All of it is about drainage, fire cistern requirements, hydrant requirements, so easements, utilities, streetlights, things of that nature.
It was like a subdivision, like basically developing a subdivision and using the plot plans and how you're gonna do the streets and how you're gonna do the sidewalk
Well,
and the lighting.
right,
But it wasn't anything in there that I read about the actual structures themselves.
right.
No.
So, for example, when we get a plan to review, okay? We review the highways, the roadways, the open space, the landscaping. We have a profile of the building. Usually they have drawings of the building. And so this open space per unit is a wellness standard that they'd have to demonstrate in the architectural plans that go with the site plan that they've achieved that.
Okay, do you see one design standard here, but it is not directly related to the dwelling? It says, before approval of a plan by the planning board, said board shall also, in proper cases, require the plan to show a park or parks suitably located for playground or recreation purposes or for providing light and air and not unreasonable in area in relation to the area of the land being subdivided and the prospective uses of such land. And if so determined, said board shall by appropriate endorsement on the plan require that no building may be erected on such park or parks for a period of not more than 3 years without its approval. So that doesn't, again, just address a dwelling having a specifically assigned yard, but it does kind of touch on the recreational outdoor, you know, subdivision.
It doesn't specifically require a yard, it requires an access of a
Mm-hmm.
minimum square feet to outdoor space.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Hmm.
and the concept is to have that a component of the dwelling unit.
Mm-hmm.
So in the past, we've had guidelines or site parameters about providing some outdoor common space. And what we got were a bunch of picnic tables, okay?
Sure.
So that's, my focus is trying to improve the quality of life in the units for the occupants. And if we can make them happy citizens, then those communities, they'll protect them and maintain them.
Sure.
When you have housing that is that disrupts your mental health,
Sure.
that causes destruction and crime and other things.
Sure.
Um,
I think I agree, I largely agree with your approach, that sentiment, you know, to make sure there's wellness, outdoor space, you know, area for people to breathe and live and just have space for themselves. And I could see, you know, if you think about going into the city, which we are not, you know, areas where seems like that's not the case.
Right.
People don't have that level of access. They rely on public parks and things like that.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure whether it's in the design standards bylaw, whether it's in the definition
It
section.
has to come under site plan review, is the only way I can see it.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. So then that's another discussion because I thought you were talking about design standards right now, which is in the regulations, not
Well,
in the bylaw.
that's all very technical performance requirements, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is an architectural design requirement. So much as we have language about buildings being harmonic in style and things like that, this would be in that same group of topics, okay? So, in other words, if the community decides that they don't want any buildings painted orange, then you would put that in there. So
I wonder, you know, what's the best way to go about, you know, putting this together so we as a board can vote on it, so we as a board can do our due diligence, ask town council to make sure, because I do get nervous, given the conversations we've had throughout this overlay district. You know, I don't, as easy as it is for us to try to garner, to a certain extent, more control over what applicants can do, I recognize there are certainly limits
So what we can
to
do.
what we can do, even as much as we wish.
well, what I realize is this is happening and it's coming, okay?
Sure.
So we're not gonna, this is going to be happening and
Sure.
the state is already pushing it financially, okay?
It's less about that, it's more about how do we as a board put this forward and go through this project. you know?
Well, I don't know that answer, whether it should be in the MBTA standards or altering our general bylaws for multifamily housing.
Sure. So, and what it sounds like is more, I think what we gathered
And
for.
if we can do that in the wellness part,
Sure,
we can keep it right out of the MBTA stuff altogether.
sure. And I think right now we're trying to do that. That was kind of the sentiment for the first section.
So I would look into our regular zoning bylaw for multifamily housing, incorporate all this wellness stuff there.
Sure. Maybe, I don't know if it'd be worth, because I think this is pretty technical. I don't think it's unreasonable, but I think it's where it fits and the way that it's worded is technical. Like we can't tell someone they need, I don't know. I don't have a good example, but there's certain things we can't tell builders that they need to do, like there are certain things that we can. And I would just want to make sure that we're getting that right. And maybe it's worth we ask town council to come in and we say, hey, this is one of the priorities for the planning board. We want to focus on wellness. We want there to be a section of wellness.
How do we word it?
How do you have any takes? And maybe, Robert, you take a draft stab. I know you've written some stuff for us before about kind of what your thoughts are and your buzzwords, and and then we present that to him, or we review it first and then
Okay, I think the critical decision tonight is to not include in this anything to do with the MBTA district.
Sure.
And I'm agreeable to that.
Sure.
And
That wouldn't limit it. That then broadens it to the whole town and not just that.
right, complicates everything we've done so far.
Sure.
I don't want to delay this anymore.
Sure.
And I don't want to put the town in jeopardy because of more delay.
Sure.
So it's just, there's no motion involved here.
No, this is just, right now, we're discussing the definite subdivision, plans for definite subdivision, required submissions for definite subdivisions and design standards.
Okay.
And it seems we're going against trying to do anything with the design standard
That's correct.
bylaw and attempt to make this an additional agenda item for the planning board as a whole, and keep it, as Beth was saying, keep it out of these, which are regulations, and move towards putting them in the bylaws to get the town as a whole to.
The question surfaces, after the MBTA district is accepted and approved, what goes on in the town? And in the future, more zoning bylaws will surface on different subjects, whether they're signs or lighting or sticks or whatever. And maybe that can happen at that time.
Sure. Sure.
I'm on. End of discussion.
Okay, so we're good on the wellness topic for now. Does anyone have any more comments on the regulations for plans for definite subdivisions, required submission requirements, and then the design standards?
I couldn't find anything.
I didn't have anything.
I think one thing when I was reading them, I guess I struggled we haven't really had a subdivision plan submitted to it, so I'm really, my view tends to be shaped from my experience.
Yeah.
And I couldn't, say that this worked well or this didn't work well. And I saw most amendments seem to be from like 2014, 2013, so I didn't.
Would you find, would you find anything from a developer's point of view that would be cumbersome, that we could ease up and make
Sure.
it simple so they know exactly what is expected? Are things
Well-
unreasonably, regulated?
More confusing because I think this board has discussed more housing options that we might welcome, such as tiny home projects and maybe village. In other words, within these requirements, even though we have the acreage there, the design concept could be very varied. It could be a high-rise building, it could be a multiple duplexes, it could be several buildings that are not the same. It could be some smaller density, single family lots combined with a municipal thing.
Sure.
So because we want to preserve a lot of different housing options in terms of building types and configurations, that we want to not find it restrictive and sort of encourage creative design that way.
Right. Right. Yeah, and these regulations haven't been reviewed for quite some time, so that's why, I mean, yeah, and to your
Right.
point, yeah,
Because they're based on a society that was older than ours.
right.
Beth, do
That's
you know
right.
what the last subdivision that was approved?
Oh, wow. It's been a while. I would say
Well, they're all based
Campbell
on single.
Farm. Campbell Farm. Yeah, North Street, North Road rather. Yeah, North End Road. So it's been a few years since I first started. Yeah.
How many units is that?
It's only 5 homes,
Four.
right? Yeah, five
Yeah,
homes.
it's 12.
Yeah, I guess when
Yeah.
I was reading it, and I guess thinking about either burdensome or non-burdensome, I, I guess I've talked about this a few times before. You know, I think of there's like the smaller local developer that I think would be willing to bite off doing like 3, 4, 5 homes. I don't think that's unreasonable for
Right,
kind of an owner operator type.
right.
And I think
Mhm.
for someone like that in that firm or that space, like when I was reading some of like the expense projections or the cost
Yeah.
projections, the revenue
Oh, yeah,
projections,
all
there,
those
there are
Mhm.
some things where I don't
Yeah.
like in my more data minded brain. I'm like, oh, that's great. I'd love to read that, or I'd love to. I don't necessarily see the guy that's also going to be running the excavator and commanding his guys and doing all that work, sitting in his office saying,
How much profit am I making?
well, planning board, I predict, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
think there's a threshold, right? Because if you're doing, 5 or 6 homes on a nice sized lot and it's going to be a long project for you or whatnot, but then you're a much bigger outfit and you're going to try to do, I don't know.
Right, the stanzas can't be the same, it's not realistic.
Yeah, I would almost,
Yeah.
I would wonder if we just try to find a threshold that we, less than 10 units, or I don't,
Yeah, that
Mhm.
makes a lot of sense.
if it's
Mhm.
less than 10, then we ask you to meet A, B, skip C, go to
Right,
D.
and there's
Okay.
nothing wrong with qualifying those things.
Yeah, make it a somehow scalable, right? If we
Sure.
can. Yeah.
If you're putting in a 20, 30 unit bonanza, I mean, presumptively, that's a big, that's quite you're gonna put some cash planning up front for that,
Right,
and at that point, I don't think it's unreasonable to say to you, hey, we really wanna make sure that if you're gonna make this type of potential disruption, that it's well planned, it's well thought out, et cetera.
Mhm.
Yep. Okay, number of units.
Mr.
I can
Boyle.
take a look at that.
I made it.
Thank you.
Number of units.
Take a seat.
Apologize for my tardiness.
Sure,
That's
that's
all
Up
right.
as soon as I could.
That's all right.
and only one person.
The
At
regulations.
most.
It's strange to see you in person, and what was
Yeah, it has been a while, hasn't it?
I don't know if I remember the last time I would have seen you or if I've ever met you in person.
Think I was here for your first meeting, as a member before you were
Oh,
chair.
really? Okay.
Long, while ago.
2023, I suppose.
Yeah, geez, that would have been 2023. I went the entire,
Oh,
wow, I went.
am I getting old?
No,
You're not getting old.
Nobody here.
Yeah.
So Beth, maybe, I don't know if we're at a point, right? So right now, Joe, we're on item 3.3. We've already talked about 3.1, which is the MBTA, but we're gonna go back to it now that you're here.
Okay.
Just briefly, we did vote to move it forward. But if there's any questions or any thoughts from you, then we can go. So I guess, Beth, for the subdivisions, maybe we're not done with reviewing that.
Okay, no
I would
problem.
say
Mhm.
maybe we try to think through as a board, is there, I guess I would be prone to look more back at our history of what size projects have come to town,
Mhm.
and then kind of see what that threshold is.
That's, yeah, that was one of the problems we had prior.
Okay.
There's so many archaic sections of the bylaw.
Yeah, right.
That it's just, they don't function well to address today's needs. And so as a planning board, there was no way we could create a whole new zoning bylaw. But, so our approach was to check specific areas as they surface as issues.
Sure.
And,
Beth, would you be willing to add to your maybe to-do list to, I don't know if you would be able to do any more due diligence on the subdivisions and what has what has gone through this bylaw? What are the
Sure.
what is the max amount people seem to be building in our community, and then
Yeah.
we can kind of approach, try to attempt to adjust it in that manner.
Yep. And I can also look at what other towns like Groton are doing. We often do that when we're rewriting regulations and bylaws to see
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
working in other towns.
Perfect.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, that sounds good, guys. So let's go back. So that's 3.3. And let's go back to 3.1, which was, and we'll give an update to Joe, review revised multifamily overlay district zoning bylaw amendments and EOHLC pre-adoption review approval letter. So Joe, we looked over what Beth shared, which was the legal notice, which I think
Yes.
you chose between two, kind of which one you thought made more sense. We read it over. We didn't have any glaring questions, and then we voted to move forward with it as a board. I think one of the things that came up from Robert is still his focus on wellness and attempting to include that, but I think we opted, you have
we
one.
don't want to obstruct this MBTA process anymore and delay it anymore.
Yes, I am really looking forward to working on the topics that you brought up at that last meeting in the site plan approval project that we're going to be doing. I think that's the right place to work those things in, and I think that what
Do we have time to do that?
we have 2026 to do it. This is the PAGA grant
Oh,
that took so long for them to finally approve.
oh,
To completely rewrite your site plan review special permit, turning it into an ordinary site plan approval. And as we're doing that, I want to pay a lot of attention to what you brought up last time,
Okay.
because I thought they were
that's
excellent.
great. That gives me a huge comfort level here.
Yeah,
I was worried that we were trying to incorporate it into this MBTA thing. And then I'm like, I don't want to delay this anymore and add more time and put us under stress. So then I went and said, well, can we address this in our regular bylaw later? And that was the approach this board took.
and for my part, I was afraid that after you shared your thoughts last time, I was saying that we really needed to move and couldn't hold up the MBTA bylaw for that. I was afraid that that came off as a rejection of the merits of your ideas. And that is not what I thought. As I thought more and went back, thinking back over that meeting, the merit of them really appealed to me more and more. You've really got I think you've really got a hold of something there, and it should really guide our site plan approval regs.
Yeah, that's really a great thing. Yeah. All right, I answered all
Yes.
set.
Okay, so I don't know if you have any more to share, Joe, on that. I mean,
It sounds like you went, you saw the letter from EOHLC, the compliance letter. And so you saw the changes that I made in response to that, cover the definitional things and whatnot. And did you have any questions?
I think the biggest one and probably the most valuable part about you being here was talking about the wellness.
Yeah,
That was,
yeah.
I was just worried where that was gonna come in here and how it was gonna work, and didn't wanna throw wrenches in what's already been done, and,
Yes.
but I'm really comfortable we can address that
Okay.
later
All right.
and keep it out of the MBTA.
Sure. All right, so that sounds good. So next, I think we're good on that. Then, and what would be next? We've done 3.1, 3.2.
No, you haven't done 3.2, so Joe can probably speak to that pretty well. 3.2.
Sure, so it is review and discuss section 145-36 accessory dwelling units in residential districts and 145 42.1, the site plan approval letter.
Okay, yeah, you got your, the Attorney General finally got back to us about the site plan approval letter. Did you all get a chance to read Adam Costa's?
Yes,
Yes, I concur.
and I could.
Yeah.
Yep. So, as of now, substantively, as of now, it's, you don't have a parking requirement. It's up to you whether you want to go back and add one. If you do go back and add one, it has to contain language about except within half a mile of a train station or a bus station, and then you can adopt it. And the substance here, the state, the law says within half mile of a transit station, which includes a bus station, you cannot require an off-street parking space for an accessory dwelling unit. This is a rule that was obviously written with Boston and Arlington and Cambridge in mind.
Wait, is that binding now?
Yes,
And
Yes.
can you repeat it, please?
you cannot require an off-street parking space for an accessory dwelling unit within half a mile of a transit station or bus station. Okay? Furthermore, when issuing the regulations, the EOHLC determined that when a bus route has flag down service instead of set stops, that the entire length of the route counts as the transit station, and you can't require a off-street parking space within half a mile of that. Marked buses are all flagged down. So whenever your bus routes are, you're not allowed to require a parking space there. Frankly, I consider this a fairly low significance matter. Who's going to add an ADU and not have off-street parking in Townsend?
Not in town.
Well,
no.
But,
Yeah.
but I do
Well, they
like
could.
Adam's answer and like to see that incorporated.
Well,
Well,
hey, there's no harm, no harm.
We have some very small village lots here
Mhm.
that would have a difficult time providing parking.
Okay. I suspect that they are all going to be located around the center of town, Route
That's correct.
13, and there's
Pretty
a
much.
bus line going by.
Pretty much you go right down Brookline Street.
Yep.
Um,
I don't have your bus routes in my head.
we don't have any,
We don't
really.
have any,
Well, I think that's what Joe's saying, though.
but we don't have a flag bus route. You have to
Yeah.
call them if you want, not even
Really?
to the con. There's no flagging, there's no going
There's
out
no
there.
bus
here.
No, you have to physically call them.
Okay, so,
I think it's 24 hours in advance.
Yeah,
you
there's
have to
no
call
scheduled
what-
route or stop.
okay,
or
so if
flagging,
you were, so if you were to adopt a requirement which exempted, you need to have language which exempts it from bus stations and train stations and transit stations in case they build one.
Well, that's why Adam,
If you adopt, if you would,
Adam said, put those words, a half mile within the train station.
yes,
one
within the
pocket.
transit station.
Well, it's
Yeah.
And it
not-
would mean nothing for you, but
It
it'd be in
doesn't-
your law,
it's
and
not-
your law would be compliant.
Doesn't apply in our town, so why do we even address it?
Because I would like to see it addressed because.
Yeah, I would say there's, especially if after the adoption of the multifamily overlay district, I could imagine it becoming worthwhile to provide bus service to that location. If it gets built out there by the town line as a mixed-use development, there's residences there, and that leads to the development of some businesses there, which would be really nice. And then at that point, maybe it's worth having bus service to it. And if that is the case, and it's worth sending a bus route up Route 13 through Lunenburg to hit that, then it would probably become worth it to continue it and have a bus stop in the center of Townsend. So maybe, there might in the future.
It would
be
apply
service
here.
coming.
Because if there were gonna be a bus stop, it would be at the common,
Yeah,
probably.
so I would just like to see that included, just for future, just to cover ourselves for whatever.
Harley, you got a question?
So as of right now, Townsend is not served by any MBTA,
By anything,
nothing.
by
We're
nothing.
part of that district or whatever it is.
Yeah,
But we're not actually served by it. But what you're saying is, I think other people here are saying is there's a possibility in the future that might happen.
probably not MBTA, but maybe Mark.
Mark, yeah.
Yeah. I doubt the LRTA is gonna go out to Townsend, the Lowell Regional, and I doubt that, and certainly the MBTA is gonna build a train line.
I mean,
So it seems unlikely, so, but Mark bus service is maybe someday.
But there, I mean, the only thing I'm aware of is that we did have
we did have Mark,
the experimental.
It was a
1 year.
trial program.
and there was not,
and it
yeah, but
wasn't
there was
used.
it wasn't used.
Hmm.
So then I'm not even sure if you can call them anymore. And then it stopped and it said you had to, I think, call 24 hours in advance if you wanted bus service.
Well, that goes.
Okay, this might be,
But I'm not sure if that even works
okay,
anymore.
this might be more for the future. If we did get Mark, I would imagine those bus lines would connect with the train station there or Shirley.
Boy, I mean,
So I think
I
when
don't
we-
know. I don't know. I have been thinking Route 13 this whole time, going down through and it going down through Lunenburg. That's
But it
that's
doesn't-
interesting too.
It doesn't go into Lunenburg Center.
Yeah, that's a, you see, that's a
Yeah.
point too. So maybe it wouldn't be Route 13.
I thought when we
It goes
had
to,
that,
it went to Fitchburg.
I thought when we had that experimental Mark route.
It went down
to
12.
Fitchburg. Well, it went- I think it went down 13
That was
to,
for Townsend though. That didn't benefit
Okay.
Lunenburg at all.
Yeah,
No, it was just a Townsend
yeah,
experiment
We had
or
a
whatever.
grant for it. so
Yeah,
that's-
so it was free. But you didn't, it was a free bus service
Hmm.
and nobody used it.
but I don't believe that was a flag route. I think that was a one stop.
Well, yeah, it stopped here, I
Yeah,
believe.
you had to park.
You
at
had a
town
park
hall.
at town hall.
And then it
It
went
did-
down into Fitchburg to the train station
Yeah,
Yes.
and any stops between?
not that I know
Oh,
of.
direct to the train station.
Beth, do you, yeah,
I
you're
don't
shaking
know.
your head no. Do you remember any specific? You're on mute.
Yeah.
The program ended because it was a grant, as Carol mentioned. So, yeah, there was only an on-call service at the end, pick up at Town Hall, end up at Fitchburg Intermodal. And that was it.
Is Fitchburg Intermodal really the closest station?
Yes.
I think it depends on which part of town you're in.
In which part
Yeah.
of town you?
Otherwise, I think it's Shirley.
Shirley or Air,
Yeah.
Shirley Station.
No, even on the east end of town, to get to here is greater
Yeah.
distance
So we
to
should-
going into Pittsburgh.
Okay,
I just bring these up because I think it's interesting that we're subject to MBTA rules on the one hand, but we don't see benefit from
Sure.
the MBTA on the other. But if we were to put in a connective bus line, not MBTA, but like the St. Mart, then people wanted to use the MBTA directly from Townsend. They wouldn't have to drive to Pittsburgh or to Air or to Shirley. They could get on a bus right here in the center of town and be connected to the MBTA in that way.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want this board to consider all scenarios here. We've had transportation crises in the past, and they're probably gonna occur again. So even if we end up having to rely on temporary public services for a COVID situation or whatever, we probably should
Thank you.
plan on it
Mhm.
I've got it here.
and
Good.
make
that
a
what you need?
provision
Yeah.
for that.
So it seems like we have some
Yes.
consensus
Okay.
about being willing to include language about parking space.
Yeah.
And the specificity of it.
Right.
Oh,
Which town meeting?
Is it a type of thing do we feel like we could reasonably, it feels too tight to try to get it in for this upcoming?
Yes, in addition, the grant for that project, it has ended.
Right, okay.
Okay.
So, first of all, it's gonna be a challenge to present this
Sure.
to the town meeting as it
As-
is
as
without
it is.
introducing new topics.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'll agree with that.
I would think,
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know if we feel confident enough, Beth, with the language we've gotten back from town council and the the Attorney General, but maybe there's enough
Okay.
language in there, we could draft it ourselves.
Okay.
And then present it to Adam and say,
But just,
in the worst case, even though Joe's no longer getting paid to work on this, if we happen to bump into him or see him, no,
Okay.
how's this sound?
How's
And
it
see
sound?
what he says.
Right. The other matter that the Attorney General raised was the single family language. I think, I don't know if I've had a chance to explain this to you, but they have interpreted the law to mean that you can build an ADU on any principal dwelling. And they interpret principal dwelling not to mean just a single family home, but any residential building. So a two-family can have an ADU.
Get out.
My crazy idea is these converted mills that have been converted into
Oh.
condominiums,
Mhm.
they can build one glass penthouse on the roof as an ADU, rent it
Nice.
out as a luxury and have an income for the
Oh,
condo
wow.
association.
Really?
Yes, an
Unbelievable.
accessory, a multifamily
Well,
building
that's so dumb.
can have an ADU.
That's the dumbest thing.
That
ever.
wasn't the way I read it either, but it's the way the state read it.
Wow.
Yes,
So,
Wow.
and they also interpreted
No, but
single
but when
family.
they originally introduced this, it was single family buildings.
It was it was single family district. Okay, they then interpreted now.
So if I-
Planners all use the phrase single family district to refer to a zoning district in which single family homes are the only use allowed.
Right.
Two families and multifamilies are
Exactly.
not. The state reversed the interpretation of that and interpreted it to mean any district in which a single family home is allowed, an ADU is allowed.
so. if I
And
lived
Any
in an
district, a
apartment,
single family
I
home is
think-
allowed?
You need to allow ADUs.
That's really stretching this.
Yes, I know. So zoning districts which allow you to build multifamily housing. If they also allow you to build single family housing, then you have to allow ADUs.
So,
So not just single family homes and not just districts that only allow single family homes.
holy moly.
This is
So-
probably not all that significant here, though.
Oh, yes.
You
it
don't,
is.
I mean,
Oh, my God.
there's only a small number of things that aren't single
You should
family
see what's
homes.
going on in my office right now.
You mean the big multis?
No, bro, with the singles, let alone.
Yeah.
The multis, and I had a
So-
client already that wanted to put one in a multifamily unit, and I told him no.
Oh, huh.
So how do you, okay, if I'm in a, say, a three-decker, and you got three different people that live there, how does, so I live on the second floor, so how do I put my ADU
You
in?
don't. Your
All right.
landlord
Right.
does, and he builds a detached ADU.
No, if I own
Let
it
me
as a
clarify
condo.
this too, Joe. This is just in the MBTA district, overlay district.
No, the ADU law has nothing to do with the MBTA overlay district.
ADU separate.
It would cover the whole
ADU
town,
So, yeah,
Is that a
essentially,
building apartment?
anywhere you can build a single.
No.
family.
Is
So-
that a building apartment?
you own a three-decker, you live in one of the units. If you wanted to add an ADU, you either put on an addition or you do a detached ADU. Same thing as a single-family home.
So it sounds like, to your question, Carol, you would have some structural challenges
That's some structural challenges.
as a condo.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
mid-level.
Leominster actually went back at my recommendation and eliminated detached single-family homes as an allowed use in one of its districts. In order to not have
Get
to
rid of
worry,
that?
in order to not have to worry about ADUs there. But it was a mixed use neighborhood center business district, and they already had multiple paths for permitting a residential.
So they could have done it
So
anyway.
they didn't need the
Right.
ADU. But yes, that's, funny interpretation. So that's
Wow.
what the first part of the letter
That is
means.
huge.
Wow,
Okay, so I'm
That
glad I
is
came
huge.
I'm glad I
Okay.
came to explain that.
okay, so that makes a whole lot of
So
sense.
I would think though with what we've chosen to do with the traffic and the parking, we would choose to address, and I don't know, I don't think any of us particularly always love the state and how they choose to go about things, but I don't see, aside from eliminating the language the AG disagrees with, we can't prevent the building of single-family homes
No,
throughout the whole town, so I would think we'd have to make the adjustment to the language for the ADU bylaw, and that would be that would
Right,
be
which
that.
we
Well,
just
yeah.
did.
Well, we're talking about it. We haven't decided, I don't believe we've decided. I think we would do that at the same time.
Are we, all right, so I'm getting a little off track here. So you're referring to adjusting our ADU bylaw regarding parking?
Well, we want to do it, I think, in tandem.
Yeah, the
You know,
parking,
if we're going to adjust the ADU bylaw for parking,
we gotta.
we also need to adjust it for
For
the,
other
Funding.
building types?
well,
Yeah.
the way the language is written from the AG is that we have to delete the words
Single.
single and just be dwelling unit, I think. It's something,
I've replaced, single family, what did I call it? Single family dwelling or single family home with principal dwelling.
Okay,
Principal dwelling.
okay.
Okay, so how does a multifamily building be called a principal dwelling?
Well, it is the principal.
I mean, the
use-
person owns it?
No, it's not about ownership. It is the principal use of the lot. You know, each lot has a principal use, and some of them
Oh.
might have an accessory use.
All right,
The
so-
principal use is a residential use.
Right, so if I owned a store and had an apartment above it, I could still get an ADU?
Why not?
This issue has never come up, principal dwelling. I do not know if a mixed-use building would be called a principal dwelling, but I suspect the reason that this had never come up is that places that have mixed-use buildings like that already permit people to add a residential unit most of the time. I do not know the answer to that. It's a good question.
Because I could own the store and my house is above the store, so
And
now
then you
I
could
should
still build
be
a
able to
rental
another,
unit.
another unit.
I mean,
Yes.
look at our little town right here on Main Street. We got residential buildings
Mhm.
that are over commercial spaces.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I think, do we like that?
Do I like it?
Well, I don't feel like there's necessarily an issue with,
I think it's great.
Yeah, everything's mixed use these days.
Yeah, I love it, yeah.
Article 18 was the site plan, the creating a site plan approval section.
I'm not sure. I'd have to look at that. Maybe.
There were improved at its entire, it improved the adoption.
Beth, do you remember what Article 18 was?
Yeah, it was site plan approval and it was approved with no changes.
So I find that really interesting that I thought we were gonna get dinged for making some ADUs go through site plan approval.
Sure.
Huh.
And it turns out they didn't ding you.
Mhm.
And where you're having them go through site plan approval, they're letting you. So good,
So I
congratulations.
guess to some of the concern expressed here, which maybe makes our decision smarter in the looking back, you know, if you have a multifamily unit and they can't add it to the building structure, you know, they would still have to come before us. I mean, there's still limits to the
Well, I
size.
mean,
that they
well,
can
yeah,
add.
plus they still have to follow all the septic
Well, you
systems
got
and
everything
all that
else, you know,
stuff.
you
I
got
mean,
building code
But
and,
Yeah.
I believe the way that's written that only a new detached ADU or an addition, I think, in which an ADU is going requires site plan approval. Now,
Mhm.
I think this is interesting.
Well-
I think, what is it?
wasn't that all exempt?
The law, as it was written, he says that site plan approval is okay. Then and when they were formulating the regulations, there was all this talk about site plan approval not being okay. If you're not doing it for a single family home, you can't require it for an ADU on a single family home. And that's the way they were talking for a while. And I thought that they were going to end up with with that as the final call, and we were gonna get dinged on the site plan approval requirements, but the fact that they didn't suggests that we might have successfully pushed back a little bit on the state and changed the outcome. By including some reasonable and limited conditions when site plan applies, and then when it doesn't.
Yep.
That I think that the regs there might have ended up a little bit I didn't think their interpretation was, their interpretation of site plan approval was right the first time, and so I'm glad it came down this way.
So
We,
where's the bottom line on this? I'm really still confused. How do I?
Let's just, I think Beth, do you have a question or a thought, or did I hear a voice? No?
oh no, I'm
Alright.
just happy that it worked out. I mean, we've already, the board has already reviewed two of them and it worked out well, so.
You've got
And
the
I'm
site
really
plan
happy
approvals.
that we're amending that at this
Yeah,
town meeting, because that was my concern, is if it wasn't yet approved, the site plan approval, if it wasn't approved, we were going to be amending it on on September 25th, and that is stacking, and you know what I mean? So that was too close for me. But I'm
So,
glad.
Yeah, that was pleasant surprise.
so where does it stand right now?
So I believe we still need to make
Approved.
changes to it. They're just not the changes we thought we would have to make to it.
Okay,
And it's based on, as Joe mentioned, eliminating the words, I think, single family dwelling and make it primary.
Primary residential, primary dwelling unit, whatever,
Right.
look at each context, something like that. And then, let's see, there's changing that, and there's
Then it would be
the
added
parking space thing.
parking language.
So, can I ask a question? Because it sounded like from town council's email that we didn't have to do anything about changing the name per se. It sounded like that was a done deal, but the
That-
parking we do. Is that right?
Well, you don't have to do anything.
Right.
Right now, those two sections are simply dead letters. Your bylaw says that it only applies to single family homes, but you have to apply it to other primary residential units as well. And your bylaw says you can require a parking space, but actually, no, you can't require a parking space. It isn't, they aren't ordering us to go back and change it the way the MBTA community review does in order to come into compliance, but you got these dead letter laws in your zoning. If you do nothing, that's the way it will stand. You can make the change on to change the language about single family dwelling to principal dwelling, and it will have no practical effect. But on the parking, if you want to go back and put in that parking requirement, right now you have no parking requirement for any ADUs anywhere in town. You can go back and using different language, impose one.
Okay,
this
thanks.
is extraordinary. We were dealing with all this based on MBTA districts. The government has overreached now
Yes.
into our regular bylaw. This has got nothing to do with the MBA district.
Yeah, this is not the MBTA district.
This is telling us that they're telling us what's gonna happen in zoning.
That's a deregulation, yeah.
Yeah,
This is not good stuff.
no, it isn't. So, do you know anything?
Why do we have to do this?
Because there's a housing shortage.
No, I understand there's a housing shortage, okay? Which there could be multiple solutions for, okay? I don't like the fact that we have a government coming into a municipality that doesn't really represent, we haven't represented, dictating bylaws, okay, to us, when it basically is our community. We should be governing our own community.
So, Robert, I don't want to dissuade you from the frustrations with the state, because I think there's no shortage of
I think the
reasons.
public should know this,
Sure.
okay?
I hope they've gathered that from what we.
I hope they did
There
too.
was some legislator that put some legislation forth about rescinding the MBTA law.
Yeah, it was voted down. It didn't make it out of committee.
It
The
did not.
legislature is standing very firm, to the point that even like in Milton, where there is actually an argument on the substance, they should be classified as this type of community, not this type of community, and it's just they're required to do that interpretation by the way the law is written, and it would be a minor language change in order to give them some flexibility. They don't even want to do that for fear of it opening the door to more. So that's the situation in the
Well, yeah,
legislature.
because it's done to call us an adjacent
Sure.
community
Sure.
where we're not close to any commuters.
20 minutes away.
There's no
20
legislature
I mean,
here.
it's,
It's all Democrat. The entire legislature is Democrat.
Now, not to reel us back in, but I think we need, the decision at hand before us as the planning board is, do we wish to change the language in our ADU bylaw
Yeah.
or leave it as dead letters?
no, I want to put the parking, I would like to see the parking in
Carol
there.
is pro making the,
So I do remember,
Exempt parking.
I don't
exempt.
have Adam's letter in front of me, but he did say on one, didn't he say on one issue we didn't have to do anything?
Yeah,
I
I'll
think he
pull
said
it
that,
up.
look,
Mhm.
No, Joe just scanned it to me.
Okay,
but that is for you to consider in the future. Is there anything else that was relevant to me?
So let me be clear on what
Subdivision
we're
regs.
doing right now.
sure,
So up for discussion is the ADU standards
Oh, okay,
allowing parking
see.
or not
Okay.
allowing parking?
I agree with that.
I
Required.
don't know if I,
Required.
yeah.
Yeah,
What are we
Whether-
proposing?
Whether we, as a board, and Carol has expressed that a desire to require parking, but we need to include specific language that says not when a potential bus stop or not within
Okay.
0.5 miles of a rail stop, or things that don't necessarily apply to us at all right now, but could potentially happen.
well, yeah, I mean, he's
That's the way I
written,
understand
he's,
that.
Adam wrote it right here.
Sure,
With the qualify that one space per ADU is required unless any portion of the lot upon which the ADU is situated is located within a half-mile radius of a transit station as defined by statute. In which case, no minimum parking requirement applies.
I think as she just read it, I'm in favor of it.
and right now, Beth, and I guess Joe, to make sure, we currently don't have a parking standard in that bylaw.
Right.
I don't have it in front of me.
No, I think there is a parking
Oh,
standard.
no, I
Yeah,
thought
there
it
is.
says
You
one.
just can't hold anyone to it.
Yeah, I think it's one
Yeah,
parking
one,
per
Yeah,
unit per
okay,
ADU. So they came back and said, no, you can't do that. And then Adam came back and said, well, yeah, we can as long as we
If we
put
put
we
that
have to
that,
do it differently.
we have put that language in there.
Yeah.
That doesn't apply to us right now, but it could in the future.
Mhm.
So,
So do you want to,
Oh,
No.
yeah, right, correct.
Right. So our standard right now is parking's required, one space. And in the event that we have public transportation here, at that time, those people will have the option to not have to provide the parking.
yeah, yes.
That seems
Yeah.
to be the sentiment. Hartley, I haven't heard your thoughts on it.
I was considering all this, and I agree with Robert that I'm not gonna see the state get too involved in our.
So, yeah, whatever
But I
Adam's
do,
language
just
is,
to
fine.
reiterate what I said before, I would like to see the day come and soon.
So do you-
To the general transportation grid of some sort. And make, like I said before, we have to adhere to MBTA rules. I think we should also be able to take advantage of having, the MBTA at least near us through MART or whatever system we can join, so.
Sure, okay, so I think the consensus that I feel like is coming from the board thus far is that we are in support of changing the ADU bylaw so that the parking requirement and is enforceable, is applicable by adding the language that Adam has
Right.
expressed.
Yes,
Agree.
So, and that was item one. And then item two would be if we're gonna be updating, which it sounds like we are willing to, the ADU bylaw with what the feedback we've gotten. eliminating per the age Attorney General's office.
A single family language?
Eliminating the single family, if we don't eliminate
That
it,
word, yeah.
nothing
Yeah.
necessarily changes, but if we do eliminate it, then it's just applicable and
Yeah,
accurate.
Yeah, it wouldn't make any substantive change, but please do remember that I really tried to write the ADU section for the ordinary homeowner, not for the developer's lawyer.
Right.
And so having this dead language in there that they're supposed to know is dead language, that's not ordinary
So,
homeowner friendly.
Would that mean any developer could come in and he gets a bonus ADU unit?
Yes,
But arguably that's
So
anywhere
when we,
in any town.
in
Yeah.
other areas of town, beyond the MBTA district, a developer comes in and we have standards on density.
Mhm.
Is this?
You have
unit
standards on
included
density,
in
what
the
do you mean you have
density?
standards on density? You have setbacks,
Well, no, we
and lot
have,
sizes.
we have, square footage parameters, we have, acreage requirements. And different districts in town. So,
Yeah, floor area ratio. I see no reason why anything in the ADU law would allow a developer to violate your floor area ratio. Let's say that if you've got a floor area ratio that based on the size of the lot, he can only do 2,200 square feet. That would mean he could not do a 2,000 square foot home and a 900 square foot ADU. He'd go over your floor area ratio. So yeah, I think that dimensional requirements already in your law on things regarding density, like floor area ratio, or if you actually had a units per units per acre requirements, some of them would
So-
still apply.
let me get this right. I have a duplex.
Mhm.
That's condoed.
One, the answer to your question is one. The principal dwelling on property with a two-family on it is the two-family home. It's not two principal dwellings, two principal residences on a two-family, it's one principal dwelling, a
So only
two-family.
one of the owners can put an ADU.
so they both can put in an ADU?
I don't believe so. It's by building.
It's by building.
All right, so it's a duplex building.
So a duplex building really means ultimately that the
It's a
two of them
two-family.
own the whole building in common. The two owners, both together, owned that two-family building. One of them has the right to use the right side and live in it. One of them has the right to use the left side and live in
Right,
it.
but
And
this-
those two, their homeowners association of two, could be allowed to put in a new unit.
That we have a distinction then. A two-family building versus a duplex or co-owned building, okay? So if we're talking about the primary, whatever that word was you
Principal
used,
dwelling.
right? It's a building that has residents in it.
Resident, right. What?
And because it is a building with residents, would be entitled to one ADU unit,
Mhm.
okay? So my question is, are we talking about building in term of code, two-family, or in terms of ownership? Okay, two different distinctions.
Ownership means nothing in zoning. You cannot distinguish between a unit in ownership or units in ownership and units that are in rental. So that helps to answer this
I
question.
see lawsuits all over the place.
Well, yeah, you know what, because, all
You
right.
do- We
so-
own we're in a duplex and you get the ADU and I don't? Not
Yeah,
gonna
and
work.
so,
Yeah, I don't think there's really any situation where that would exist. I think the duplex, both owners would need to agree to put an ADU on the property.
I
would
would
they?
assume so, yeah.
Well, you would
That's the only
assume
way it
so.
could work.
because, each unit pays some kind of HOA fee to maintain the building or whatever. So if one person puts in an ADU, now do they pay more in HOA because now there's additional I mean, this
So
is.
not to
such-
bring us back to the matter at hand, but none of this affects
Yeah.
the language to which we will choose to accept or
I
deny.
know, I'm just trying to understand
I
everything.
get that.
Yeah.
Okay, but are we
Two
good?
families are always owned by either one person and rents out both the units, or if there are two owners living on the property, they co-own the building and co-own the lot.
And there's investors that own the building that don't even live there.
Right, right. The
So-
owners of that two-family building, who owner or owners, whoever they are, could build one ADU.
Okay.
So we good
Can,
with the
can I ask,
language?
can I just ask if this is going to be, I think you already answered it, but administratively, your changes are not going to be at this special town meeting, or they are? Because I can add those words in and still put it in for the public hearing on the 15th if you want to do it. I mean, it's just
I
a
think
matter
the
of adding
single-
a few words.
Changing the word single family
Hmm.
to the language.
Principal dwelling.
Principal dwelling is okay.
Mhm.
We don't have a problem with that. I don't think we have a problem with the ordinance that was written regarding the parking.
Mhm.
And what was the remaining one?
Oh,
That
those
was
are-
it.
that was
That's
it.
it. It's just
Then we're all
those two.
set.
So I
Yeah,
guess the
so-
question, I think initially when we started, we said that we weren't gonna try to do it this soon because we didn't want to congest or
Yeah.
distract.
I
But
think-
if Beth, if you think it's quite reasonable, I mean, it's technically not that much.
I know it's
Yeah, but
not, but
my
is it gonna
question is-
confuse if we're trying to get this overlay district passed? Do we
Yeah.
wanna put in
I'm
the
sorry, yeah.
ADU stuff?
You're right, you're
I'm
right.
just- I'm
Muddy the
concerned.
water.
It's not. If
Yeah.
we don't want it just exclusively into the MBTA overlay.
Say that again?
We don't want this,
ADU?
these ADU changes represented in the MBTA overlay. They're
Mhm.
gonna be in our general.
Yeah, in the
zoning
ADU
bylaw.
section.
Right,
Yeah,
okay, that's
Okay.
fine.
But,
Yeah.
but the question is, do we attempt to do it at the next upcoming special town meeting, or do we wait?
No, this town meeting is just gonna be all about the MBTA
Okay.
district.
Okay.
yeah,
Thank you.
I
Yeah,
think-
you did say that,
We got
sorry.
our hands full with that.
I think, yeah, we,
I would fear that you have,
otherwise you might confuse too
Sure.
many people
Sure.
in.
I would fear that you'd have townsfolk who are put in such a bad mood by having to vote for the MBTA district in order to protect the town from the potential consequences, that if there were other items on that same, that they just spite vote against them.
Well, the other thing is,
So,
I don't even know how many people in town are aware of this, and we have to have a quorum of what, 75 people?
Yep.
And when it's,
Seven,
and when it's a non-tax, property tax issue, sometimes we don't get a lot of people to show up.
well, it could surprise you.
It could,
So,
This would impact a lot of people.
Beth, would you like a motion from the planning board about adjusting the ADU bylaw, or shall we? I guess we should wait till you have the language precise, and
Yeah,
then,
we can do that.
and then we'll vote at a subsequent meeting.
Yeah, future meeting, I'll make sure we get the right language and make the edits, and then we'll have it on tap for the next available town meeting.
Yeah.
okay.
If you felt that this was something that you wanted our help on, or other additional zoning stuff that you want to look at next year, I'd encourage you to apply for a DLTA grant.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, thank you. Sure.
Okay, perfect. So that, so that's three, we've done 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, the administrative updates and reports. Beth, would you like to share your updates?
All right, let's go through some of the stuff. Expected applications, 25 Harbor Trace, the water treatment plant, we're waiting for the certificate of completion for the stormwater management permit.
so
Campbell
much.
Farm.
Thank you.
Yeah, Campbell Farm, I've got to get in touch with them about their certificate of completion, so that's on me. Three Wheeler Road, we're anticipating a modification to their stormwater management permit. Due to a major change to the existing approved stormwater management permit. Building permit applications reviewed, none. Site visits and compliance, 66 Bayberry Hill Stormwater Management Permit. The board received an updated construction phase monthly inspection reports that were missing. There was a letter sent to bring the project into compliance due to stormwater basins that have not been constructed per the approved plan, which is in violation of section 175.45, meaning the stormwater basins need to be built during construction because they're part of the system that's actually treating stormwater during the construction phase. So there's a letter been sent requesting the permit holder to come into compliance and meet with the board. The same project, unfortunately, was caught between the regulations changes. And at the time the permit was approved, there was an easement required. I'm sure many of the board members remember that we eased that, no pun, but the board wanted to make it easier. So it switched from an easement requirement to a right of entry requirement, which was a lot more palatable. So it didn't have to be recorded on the title. But this project unfortunately fell between that, and we were in the process of processing the easement when the regulations changed. So that was not done, and it's kind of a little bit in hold right now. I'm waiting to hear back on what the applicant wants to do or what the permit holder wants to do. 94 Fitchburg Road. I have been in contact with that developer quite a few times regarding the outstanding conservation restriction. And I am probably at this point going to work with the board to write a letter for that. 22 West Meadow Road. I have been in touch with the program manager at Nexamp, and they are planning on submitting the 2024 annual landscape monitoring report. That should be coming up soon. 12 Ball Road, the cell tower permit extension letter was signed and was sent. And in terms of stormwater management compliance, we have monthly inspection reports up to date from Three Wheeler, 18 Main, and 66 Bayberry Hill. Grants and projects I'll go through quickly. DLTA, the economic development. I did get some update from MRPC that I will share with the board. I didn't get it in this packet, but we will be meeting with them in September. The board will meet with Tracy again in September to go over next steps. UPWP, the corridor analysis, Route 119, traffic counts are complete. And right now, the project engineer is doing analysis on those counts and creating whatever traffic planning he's doing. The PAG grant, we know about that. Master plan, I'm working with the Energy Committee to get that done. Let's see. Okay, zoning, we got that. The safety action plan is the safety improvement projects that we talked about a couple meetings ago for Townsend. There were 4 projects. That particular plan has been endorsed by MJTC and will be out for public comment early next month. And finally, the kids' country playground is really going along well. The equipment has been installed and the rubber ground covering is being installed next week. It is set to reopen mid-September for the kids.
Yeah, you gotta thank Cemetery and Parks for a lot of participation in that.
Yes, yes. Really
All right.
cool. They did a great job. And highway.
Thank you, Beth.
Oh, you're
Thank
welcome.
you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so that was administrative reports. And then we have, before we get to 3.5, Beth, did you have a chance to make any adjustments to the 8/11 meeting minutes?
Yeah, I did. I can pop them up on the screen. If I can have screen sharing capability, please, from the host.
You should be able to share.
Oh, thank you. Right. All right. So I did actually do a little more than you asked, but I just cleaned it up while I was sitting here. I couldn't stay. I had some editorial changes. So what I did, I'll read it. Mr. Boyle addressed the board's interest in ensuring resident access to outdoor patios, green spaces, and architectural building styles. I'm not sure if you like that wording, but he noted that the planning board will have greater influence over these elements through the site plan review process being developed under the planning assistance grant. To support this, Mr. Boyle will incorporate language into the site plan review and related regulations that reflect these standards. He confirmed that these two project review criteria will be included in future revisions to the site plan review as part of his work with the Townsend zoning code. The rest of it, I just cleaned up. I didn't change anything. I just sort of cleaned the grammar, if you will.
That's good.
Yeah.
Harley? All right. Thoughts? It looks good.
Looks fine with me, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I'd like to entertain a motion to approve
Amended minutes?
the amended minutes for August 11th.
Second?
Right, we'll give Hartley the so moved, and then a second. Robert. We got Hartley first, Robert second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I got the order wrong.
Yeah, that's all right.
That's okay.
Okay, so we're good. We're good down. Now, Hartley, do you have the announcements in front of you? Do you
Yes,
have
I
them?
do.
Okay,
Okay, got a lot of them, so bear with me.
and feel free to try to hit the high points. You don't have to read every.
Okay. Okay, this is first one from the Office of the Zoning Board of Appeals here in Townsend. In accordance with NGL Chapter 40A, Section 9, and the Townsend zoning bylaw, the Townsend Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, September 17th, 2025 at 6:35 p.m. at 272 Main Street to consider the application of Addison Newt for modifications to two special permits granted in 2009 and 2010. These permits authorize the reconstruction of 9 residential units of pre-existing non-conforming use under Townsend zoning bylaw 145-18 and 145-65. The applicant seeks to remove or amend condition 1 of the 2009 permit, which states, quote, "The use shall comply with the definition of hotel motel in Article 2, 145.5 of the zoning Townsend zoning bylaw," close quote. The applicant also requests to move or amend condition 1 of the hotel motel in Article 2, 145-5 of the TZB, which allows for the temporary lodging of persons. The applicant shall be allowed to reconstruct the cottages as they now stand, including kitchens. The subject property is located at 159 Brookline Road, map 38, block 9, lot 0, within the outlying commercial district, OCD, and the aquifer overlay district. And it has, I think that
How
covers
many
it.
units? How many units?
How many
Nine,
units?
I think.
I think these are the tiny houses that.
Yeah,
I think it's 9 units or something.
okay.
If I remember right.
Doesn't
I
really
think we
say
talked
here.
about them a little bit at the last meeting.
Okay.
It is
All right.
9. Yeah.
9, yeah. Well, it says block 9, so. Okay, is that
Yep,
sufficient for
I think
that?
that's-
Okay.
I think we're good.
Once again, here's another one from the zoning board of appeals. Notice of decision. Notice is hereby given that a zoning board of appeals administrative appeal has been denied under Townsend zoning bylaw section 145-64 to the Historic District Commission for an appeal of the building commissioner's decision letter dated April 17, 2025, property located at 1 South Street, Townsend, Massachusetts, Assessors Map 33, Block 43, Lot 0. The appeal decision of the Zoning Board of Appeals is on file with the papers on this matter in the office of the town clerk, certified this 19th day of August 2025. Zoning Board of Appeals Administrator Elizabeth Faxon. Right to appeal any appeals of this decision shall be made pursuant to Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 48, Section 17, and a copy shall be filed in the town clerk's office within 20 days after the date of the filing of the decision in the office of town clerk. Does that cover it? Think that covers it? I can.
I think I read that in the portal, but I don't think there was
South Street,
any details.
The Reed House.
Yeah,
The
the Reed House, or was that
It has something to do with the train track,
the trestles and the
Yeah.
handrails
trestles,
stuff?
yeah.
this is there's controversy around, not to get into it to any great level of detail, around the railings on the bridge,
The
the
little,
trestle, the little trestles.
that little bridge that they
Correct.
just made.
Correct,
That was,
sure.
Essentially, what happened was the ZBA was not the appropriate body to appeal to. So that's why it had to be denied. They shouldn't have come to the ZBA, and that was that was why.
okay.
Okay, we all set on that?
Yeah.
Okay, this one is from the town of Groton. A letter to the Groton Town Clerk, Groton Planning Board, public hearing notice, definitive subdivision plan and special permit 423 Old Air Road, Assessors Parcel 221-20. Dear Town Clerk, in accordance with the provision of Chapter 40A, excuse me, the squiggles here, what are they?
Section.
Section.
Paragraphs, my apologies, paragraphs 9 and 11, MGL, Massachusetts General Law, and the code of the town of Groton, chapter 218. The Groton Planning Board will hold a virtual public hearing via Zoom on Thursday, August 28, 2025 at 7:15 p.m. to consider the application submitted by Patricia A. Madigan for approval of a definitive subdivision plan and special permit under the provisions of Groton zoning bylaw, section 218-9.1, flexible development. The proposed project will create 3 new lots in a residential compound as shown on the plans entitled, quote, Flexible Subdivision Residential Compound, Madigan Hill, Groton, Massachusetts, close quote, prepared by Dillis and Roy Civil Design Group, dated July 7th, 2025. The project is located at 423 Old Air Road, Assessors Parcel 221-20. There's, how do you get to it on Zoom, and copies of the application and plan are on file in the planning board office, the town clerk's office, and in Townsend Town Hall. Okay, so this is from Groton Planning Board, Lorraine Black Chair. Okay. Town of Shirley Zoning Board of Appeals, decision of the Zoning Board of Appeals variance application of property owner Peter E. Knox, trustee of the Castle Trust, 21 Park Street, Air, Massachusetts. Applicant Peter E. Knox, trustee of the Castle Trust, care of Kyle J. Proto, 21 Park Street, Air, Massachusetts. Property address 83 Front Street, Shirley, Massachusetts. Parcel ID 23C10, book page 44385/581. A public hearing was held on Monday, August 4th, 2025 at 7 p.m. in which a decision was reached. The applicant, Peter E. Knox, trustee of the Castle Trust, came seeking a variance per section 2.4.3 and 9.24 of the town of Shirley's protective zoning bylaws. And also says here, under legal ad, the town of Shirley Zoning Board of Appeals will conduct a public hearing at 7 p.m. on Monday, August 4th. Like they've already done that. Do I need to read that if we've already done it? Okay. Yeah. All right. Various signatures and so forth. Okay. Also from the town of Shirley, decision of the Zoning Board of Appeals, variance application of property owner Michael Swanton, 2 Daniel Drive, Shirley, Massachusetts. Applicant Michael Swanton, 2 Daniel Drive, Shirley, Massachusetts. Property address 2 Daniel Drive, Shirley, Massachusetts. Parcel ID 11583.4, book page 78248/358. A public hearing was held on Monday, August 4th, 2025 at 7 p.m. at which a decision was reached. The applicant, Michael Swanton, came seeking a variance for section 3.2.2 C4 of the town of Shirley's protective zoning bylaws. And this public hearing for that, again, that's already been held, so only waiting to repeat that. Okay, Beth gave me this tonight, and she said I don't have to read it all, but because it's a past meeting, but she did want me to read part of it. DCR, the Department of Conservation and Recreation, Commonwealth of Massachusetts. DCR Otter River Complex Resource Management Plans draft release public meeting Thursday, August 21st at 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. The Department of Conservation and Recreation has prepared draft resource management plans for the following 13 properties in its Otter River Complex: Ashburnham State Forest, J. Harry Rich State Forest, Lake Denison Recreation Area, Lawton State Forest, Otter River State Forest, Pearl Hill State Park, Petersham State Forest, Royalston State Forest, Squanicook Brook State Forest, Templeton State Forest, Townsend State Forest, Willard Brook State Forest, and Winchendon State Forest. Copies of these plans are available on the Central Highlands District RMP's webpage. And it tells, public will be invited to provide comments during the meeting. I'll just read what might still be relevant. DCR encourages the public to share additional feedback with a deadline for receipt of comments by DCR of September 20th, 2025. Comments may be submitted via the DCR public comment portal. Please note the content of comments you submit to DCR along with your name, town, and zip code may be posted on DCR's website. Additional contact information required when commenting, notably email address, will only be used for outreach and future updates on the subject or property. Okay, there's that. And I think I just got one more here. Okay, did I get through that? Yeah, okay. This is from Town of Pepperell Planning Board, open government record numbers, TBSB-25-2, applicant Matthew J. Nelson, location of property. The subject property is located at 24 National Road. The subject property is shown on tax map 25, parcel 15, and is located within the Recreation Residence RCR zoning district. Owner of property, Matthew J. Nelson. Relief requested, special permit to permit the construction of a 2-family residential structure within the Recreation Residence zoning district as required by bylaw 4270, decision of board granted with conditions, date of decision July 21st, 2025. The decision of the planning board is on file with papers on this matter in the office of the town clerk. Okay, is that it? Or I got a couple more to read. Forgive me, it's kind of this, yeah, it's a lot. Okay, I read that about Shirley, this and this one added to it. Oh, I found one here from us. It's not part of the package.
Well, that was part of, I think, 3.1.
Okay, so that's what we're talking about tonight.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I think we already approved that as the format for what Beth can move forward with for
For the posting of the,
posting.
Okay, so I don't need to read it.
no,
Okay, so
I guess part of our approval of that was making sure we're comfortable
Right.
with that language
right.
being what it is and being
Right.
sent down.
It just looked like something that belonged with us.
Sure.
Thank you for clearing that up for me. Okay, if I'm
And
not mistaken, that's it for those.
then I believe, Beth, I saw in my folder, there was a letter addressed to the planning board chair and admin. Oh, you're on mute. I can't hear you.
Please unmute.
Oh, this one got
Can we unmute you, Beth?
Sorry, yeah, that came to the office and I'm just moving it along to you. I don't think you have to do anything if you don't want to, or you can talk about it if you want to. I don't have any information on it.
It's nothing, this is a letter from somebody on Lunenburg Road, expressing a complaint about the apple orchard next to their house. But this is not necessarily a matter that's before us.
It's not.
Okay,
Oh.
so,
Yeah, well,
What's the matter with the apple?
what's the matter with the apple?
well, I guess the sentiment seems they don't really like it next to their house.
They don't like an apple orchard.
Well, I don't think we.
But that's not in our purview, is it?
Well, I guess
No.
my perspective as the chair at the moment is that while I appreciate their concern in this letter, that it's not under our purview, it's not any business we're considering, and
It's been there a while, so.
yeah, this is not something I wish to get in the middle of.
Oh, no.
So
No, neither, but we don't have any business in this.
we will take that and we'll thank them for their letter and we'll go from there.
I think that should have been addressed to
And I think
I
otherwise,
don't know, who do you address that to?
we do have, we heard from Sabrina, the select board admin, that the notice for the vacancy on the planning board has been wrong. It has been advertising 2 positions, but currently there's only 1 position. So that has been reposted and we have to wait 10 days before we add anybody, but we also received
an applicant.
an applicant, and that application is here.
Great.
And I would think that we invite them after the deadline, the 8/31 deadline, invite them to come before us.
Sure.
The process, as I understand it, is we would interview them. There's somebody in the community that has had matters before us before, and, you know,
Okay, say welcome.
yeah, well, interview them, make sure we're comfortable, and then move forward with from there. So I think, and then the other item that was in my folder was from Kieran put together, I believe. This
Oh,
is
yeah. The dire straits if we don't
What
approve
is
it.
it?
This is just a list of funding grant
You know-
programs from the state that we've received.
You know,
That would
if
be
we,
in jeopardy.
don't, you know, if we don't pass it, all these bad things are gonna happen.
I'd just like to comment on one thing that Hartley read through the correspondence from the
DCR.
DCR. I'm not sure what this is all about, but I got wind of it through Cemetery and Parks. And they were approaching us to give over control to the Adams Dam, Black Rock area as part of the Parks Department, with the intent to remove Black Rock and the Adams Dam, which I am adamantly opposed to and was expressed at our board meeting. So I think that's what this is all about, and you can see from Hartley's letter, they're trying to take control over many areas of this town. And I think the public should be aware of it.
Sure. Do you have any, what was the process, or what is this?
Well, the basic is,
Did the Parks
to-
vote on anything?
I'm saying what?
Did the Parks Department approve anything, or?
No, we totally rejected
Oh,
everything.
sure.
And it was not well received.
Sure.
And our position was, and I personally commented, 40 years ago, there were probably 8 different places you could swim in this town. And today there's only 2. Black Rock is one, and the other one is baptized. So we've lost that resource for the town. And this involves removing dams. So when you stop messing with the dams, you change the water levels. And so where you are at Black Rock, you won't be able to dive the way we traditionally dive, okay? So there's a lot of disturbing things here. We only saw one fragment of it because the Parks Department maintains the Black Rock Adams Dam area,
Sure.
which they want to take control of.
If they remove the dam, does that affect anybody's homes?
That is, I don't know.
This is all about, according to them, is so the trout can go up and down the river.
So I think this is an important update. I'm glad that you've been able to share it here at this meeting and as being recorded with the public as
Right.
well. But I think it's relatively beyond our scope at the moment.
Yeah.
No, I know, okay.
Just in terms of,
I'm
not,
sorry.
I love spending my 8:30 at night with all of you, but in the interest of time,
All right.
I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
And I make a motion to adjourn at 8:23.
Okay, and motion to adjourn at 8:23, and then our next meeting is scheduled for September 15th with special town meeting September 25th. Is that right? And then September 29th? Let me just double-
Wow.
The 15th is the planning board meeting.
Yeah, the 15th is a public hearing, and then there's town meeting after that on the Thursday night, and then the following planning board regularly scheduled meeting is on the 29th.
Okay, all right. So 15th is our public hearing, 25th is our special town meeting for the MBTA, and then the 29th will be our regular town meeting. So,
The 29th is what?
our regular.
A regular meeting.
Okay, so Carol has made a motion to adjourn. Is there any seconds?
Second?
All those in favor?
Bye.
The ayes have it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Beth.